What's up? What's up? This is Unknown, man. Don't need a gun drone. Man, about to get into these blogs, man. Man, I've been seeing a lot of things that I really don't like. So now it's time to really, be that voice. If you don't know, I'm really a street therapist. I really do therapy. I'm really in the streets. I'm really for the youth in the community, especially black folks, man. I want everybody to win no matter what. But today, man, I'm definitely gonna talk about Charleston Whites, man. My feelings and stuff like that. So I'm just letting you know, if Charleston White, if you ever hear this, I want all the smoke. Some of these people out here don't want it. I want every bit of smoke. So when you hear this, put it towards me because I want it. So Charleston White, redemption or repeat offender? That's what we're gonna be talking about today, man. Charleston White, he masked his redemption a lot, man. Charleston White loved to tell people he's reformed. He tells the story of being when he was 14 years old. Everybody hear that same tired ass story. How he paint the picture of a young man when he went to prison one way and came out as another. He was wiser, has he changed, and ready to uplift his community. Because that's what he's supposed to be, like a community activist. Little do we know, that shit ain't what he doing. That story carried him onto like podcasts, video clips and stuff like that. I ain't gonna front, he's viral. He goes, once he opened his mouth, he's definitely viral. Even, into the youth in Texas, man. Like he's, started out being in a lot of these youth programs, pushing all this peace and stuff like that. But when you start to peel back these layers, you shine the light on his redemption stories, that shit start to turn dull, man. Because the redemption is real. So if his redemption was real, if change is truly possible, then the evidence will match the words, man. Because Charleston White say a lot of things and do something totally different. In Charleston White's case, man, the evidence shows a pattern of contradiction, arrests, hateful tyrants, and behaviors that look like less like redemption and more like relapse. Charleston White say one thing and do another. That dude is definitely not who he say he is. At least, what he started to try to be. That dude is a fraud, man. This is not an activist in our community. This is someone you just look at and keep it moving. Do not entertain him. So, man, let's just take it a step back, man. Like his origin story, right? Because he likes to talk about a story, that he was convicted and defined himself. So, back then, he was 14 when he got arrested. He was around a group of friends, man. Got into a robbery at Foot Locker that ended up into murder. Man, you got to think about that, man. He ended up in murder. He ended up doing some of these things, but he never really murdered anyone. Charleston White was just one of those flunkies, man, that you just kind of grab around. You need somebody to take the fall. That's Charleston. Charleston White was one of those kids that wasn't popular. He wasn't jumping off the porch. He wasn't doing any of that. He was the fall guy. You know what I mean? So he made himself a household name. I give him that. Today, the internet culture, because of the music, movies, and philanthropy, but because of the controversy, man, it ain't because he's getting it popping, because he's really talented. He just loved controversy. He walking around like a soundbite, a man who figures out how to turn provocation into profit. Some call him a truth teller. Man, I call him a fraud. You know what I mean? But the real question is, who is Charleston White, and why does he thrive off lies and contradiction? Man, I'm just letting you know, this isn't a blog that's about hate. It's about facts. It's about shedding a light on the darkest corner of a man who built his empire off shock value and selective storytelling. So if Charleston White says he's for the people, then it's only fair that the people look closer at the man that's claiming the spotlight. Because to me, he's a fraud. So like I said, from his juvenile history, convicted on social media and stuff like that, you know what I mean? He got released when he was 20. He was, went down for a murder charge. And in the state of Texas, you with someone who do a certain charge, your ass get that same charge. Charleston White didn't kill anyone. He's not a killer. He's not a fighter. He says that shit all the time. but y'all believe in this goofball. That's not him. When he got out, yeah, he tried to turn his life around. I think what everybody should. Everybody should turn their life around, do something a little bit different, right? You know, stay away from the penal system and stuff like that. So he became or wanted to be this motivational speaker. I don't know what motivation that I heard from him was speaking, but it is what it is. And he dedicated himself to steering the youth and, you know, away from gangs and stuff like that and violence. And this is where it gets me aggy because me being a street therapist, I'm really a therapist. I'm really working with kids that are in gangs, been around violence, born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. I've seen a lot of these things. Like, I'm really in the streets, man. Like, I'm really there talking to the youth. I really want them to put the gun down, you know, rather fight it out instead of killing people. But him, on the other hand, he ain't what he preaching. On paper, man, the story sounds inspiring, though. I'm going to keep it a band. I'm going to keep it a band. It sounds really good to hear, like, oh, he really here for the youth. He really want them to change and shit like that. I think that's nice to hear from a black man, like, yo, help change the youth. But, boy, it's like a fucking ashtray, man. Like, for real, man. He pays his debt to society, then comes back to guide the next generation. Man, we've been hoping to seeing that. We don't even see any of that. But that's the only part of his story. Behind the redemption arc or a layer of, you know, he's just a hypocrite. He exploitations and contradiction. That's Charleston White. That dude does not want his fans or critics to really unpack his life. But I'm about to be doing that shit going forward. So first, it's just a contradiction as a community leader. Charleston White called himself a community activist, man. A community activist is someone that's actively in the community. Let that sink in for a minute. So Texas, wherever he's from, how active he is in his community. Is he fighting for certain things that your community really needs? That's a community activist. If that's what he's not doing, please do not give that man that label because he is not that. Right? So that's not him. He's the opposite of that. Let's break it down for a little bit, man. Spend some time. So if you listening, please like, subscribe, because this is going to be a rocky road, man. And like I said, Charleston, I want all the smoke. Right? So one, he's preaching non-violence, right? He's preaching like, hey, don't kill, don't do this or do that. But on the other side, he is glorifying violence. To me, that's a contradiction, bro. Charleston White always and often claims that he's against gang culture. We hear him cry about that shit all the time, pointing that out, this, that, and the third. He's against street violence. He's against the glorification of criminal lifestyles. We hear this nigga whining about all that shit. But yet, scroll through all his videos. Tell me what the fuck you hear this nigga talking about. Right? You find him threatening rappers, wishing death on their kids, they dead homies and stuff like that. He's mocking people who have done passed away. Man, in our community, man, you diss a dead person of somebody else's hood or some homie, you know it's up. They be ready to shoot and kill the whole damn community for that. But Charleston White do it. Right? Let that shit sink in for a minute, man. Like, he is supposed to be the community activist. He's supposed to be the community. But what he doing is poisoning the community with all some of this dumb shit that get people riled up. Right? Some of the shit he you know, you can find it online. He says, yo, I don't feel bad when rappers die. Man, I mean, you got to be a human, bro. If you don't like rappers, just say you don't like rappers. But if you don't feel like they died, man, like, how can you be a community activist? That's the community, bro. He's glad some of these young men lost their lives. Like, how are you glad? Did these people do something to you, your family? Are they tearing down your community? Are they taking food off your plate? Are they taking money out your wallets? Why are you glad? Come on, man. This is like a real life Boondock character, and we all know Uncle Ruckus, right? They both black, don't act black, both eyes don't get along, one on the left side, one on the right side. That's Charleston White, the human Uncle Ruckus. Say one thing, then do another thing. That's him, bro. Like, yeah, really have to understand that. He's glad that young men lose their lives because it proves that the street don't love them. How can a man in his position himself as a role model for the youth constantly celebrate death. Not an activist. To me, that's exploitation, bro. He's a community activist, but he celebrates that. He's talking about your dead homies. He's talking about I wish they were dead and doing all this. Hoping your mother do this. Like, come on. Y'all need to wake up, bro. Like, we already got a lot of black on black crime going on. Now we got this person who in a position to be an activist. Man, to me, Charleston White is dressed up in a Halloween costume. He been doing that since he was released. Because Charleston White does not fit in. He does not look like the type of person that will have friends and be like, yo, I'm going to kick it with Charleston. He knows how to play all that. He's in costume. He's like a fucking black KKK. He's like a black Aryan Nation Brotherhood. That's him. He's just black. He'll tell you I want this, but then he'll backdoor you. He'll say something bad about you. Like, come on, bro. That's Charleston White for you. Another, number two, the police calling. Saying that's gangster. Man, White's often brags about calling the police on people that he disagrees with. Man, like, if y'all don't be seeing the bait, man, you gonna get caught up out there, bro. Charleston White is that type that he will call the cops on you left and right. He's a internet version of a neighborhood watch. That's what he does. He'll jump right in your business when they got shit to do with him. He'll say things that got nothing to do with him. But he'll call the cops on you, right? People would disagree with. If he don't like it, he don't like what you stand for, I don't like him. I don't like his nappy head baby kids or da-da-da-da. Like, he be against you. Framing it as a clever way to fight against the street code. Like, I give it to Charleston. He's smart in some ways, and in other ways, he's slow as a doorknob. Like, for real. Let's keep it a band. You know what I mean? Like, he was like, yo, I'm from the law, I'll call the cops, I'll press charges. We know you'll press charges. And I think that's why a lot of celebrities and rappers are scared of him, because they got a record. Charleston, again, I want all the smoke, bruh. I got a master's degree, I'm doing therapy, no criminal history. You can snitch all you want, bruh. I'm here. I want the smoke. Because you got everybody else shaking in their boots to talk to you. Nah, I'm keeping a band with you. You ain't somebody that I'm afraid of, bro. I'm built for this. So let's get it cracking. Right? So here, another here mock. He baits people in ways that is easily to escalate in violence, bro. He does that all the time. Every time I see him, oh, F this, F that, I hate you. It's like he knows that get people going. He feeds off that. Come on, man. We in the world that we in, and we got people that want this poison. But why did we give him a platform? Why he's not part of the cancel culture? Like, why is he supposed to be the community activist? Why is he still labeled that? Why y'all still make this man go viral? Like, he wants to hate, but we give it to him. Not this direction, White. Not this direction, bruh. For reals. You can call the cops all you want, bruh. You can do that. You know what I mean? But that's a double-sided approach, right? He keeps him untouchable, right? He's with the law. He'll snitch and tell. Man, he probably got them on speed dial. He probably got the lieutenant, actual personal number. But it's okay. It's okay to keep this dude going viral. It's okay to keep having him do contests and stuff like that. Nah, man. He provokes like a gangster, but behind the law, when that gets real, that's not bravery, bro. That's manipulation. He know how to manipulate the system. I give him that, Charles. I do, bruh. I give you credit on that. But, man, some people see through that, bro. You in that dark, and I'm shining a light on your beanhead ass, bro. Like, for real. Number 3, man, speaking against rappers while acting just like them. Man, Charleston White made a whole career out criticizing rappers, calling them out for promoting drugs, gangs, and violence. But if you watch closely, he thrives with the exact same formula. That's shock value, right? Oh, he talked about such and such. Man, that was disrespectful. Everybody liked that. But you don't look at, okay, what is he doing towards the other person? How does that affect in their life? How does that prevent them to eat? We don't think about that, but we get that shock value. And also, Charleston White is a controversial. Everything he says is controversial, even his statement. Oh, I go this way, but he go that way. Just like his eyesight. His eyes is controversial. One eye go left, one eye going right. They can't get on the same goddamn page. Yeah, I said that. But also, too, he glorifies trauma, bro. As a street therapist, as a therapist that practice trauma is big in the black community, bro. He glorified that. He talked about your dead homies. Oh, you should have died. He did this. Oh, this, that, and the third. It's like, come on, bro. Yo, help me understand that, please. Please, man, if you still listening to this, please comment. Let me know because, man, like I feel like people are afraid to point the light on Charleston and I'm on his heels. I want every bit of smoke from Charleston White. I'm unknown. I don't need a gun drone, nigga. Like Charleston, what's cracking? I want it. Speak up. Because I'm going to air out your dirty laundry. We're going to really see how much you're an activist in your community, bro. There's always somebody that's going to push you to the limit, and I'm going to be that one. Bet that. Number 4, using the youth as a shield. This gets me too because I'm really a youth, man. My specialty as a therapist is child and adolescent and youth, man. He reminds people that he works with at-risk youth. He partnered with different organizations to mentor them, right? But critics have pointed out how, let me back that up, but critics have pointed out how little of work that he actually documented compared to his hours on content. Let me say that one more time just in case either I fumbled or you didn't hear. Critics has pointed out how little of work he actually did compared to the hours of content he puts online tearing down black communities. Let that sink in for a minute, bro. He's gone viral. His channels and everything's getting monetized. We all know you got to put in a lot of work to get that going. But there's no documents that he's doing the same thing in the community. How are you a community activist, bruh? Charleston, man, you a clown with no makeup on. I see you, bruh. I see you. That's why I'm on your heels, because I see you. The truth is, for every one of his clips speaking to the kids, there are hundreds of him ranting about rappers, disrespecting the mothers of the dead, mocking the victims. His youth work becomes a shield, a way to justify his action without being fully accountable. That's the problem. People are too afraid to hold people accountable. Man, we in the community that we have to do that. We can't always look at the law. We can't always look at the government or anything like that. We have to point certain things down. And I'm going to be doing that. So if you're hearing this, please share this. Please share this all over. I want Charleston Ash to hear this because I'm on his heels. I want all the smoke, Charles. All of it. So the truth is, man, if you really want to see his true colors, man, don't say anything. Watch him, see what he does. See what type of content he says when there's nothing out there for him to feed off. He is not for the youth. He is not pushing peace. He's against what he stands for. And, you know, he makes a lot of controversial statements that cannot be ignored, man. I swear, some of y'all just letting that shit slide, man. Charleston White's list of shocking statements is long. He say a lot of disrespectful shit that makes people want to spin his top. But that's why niggas are scared, because he got the boys in blue on speed dial. He goes to Sunday brunches with them. He go to police uniform day. He do all that shit with these motherfuckers. He's the neighborhood watch. He's everything. So let's talk about George Floyd. Man, he once mocked Floyd's death, saying, man, that's not my hero, and suggested that people who celebrate Floyd was lost. I mean, to me, when we talk about trauma, Floyd, that was traumatizing, just seeing that. Seeing how the law, the people that we hope to protect us, using certain things, and that ain't what it was. So to me, like, I don't know if he needed to be a hero or anything, but man, like, it could have been said a little bit different. But that kind of rubbed me the wrong way, where he just ranting about this. But he knows he will go viral because it's controversial. So how is that a community activist? Please help me understand that. Right? It would have been different if we would have been calling out the police officers. What you did was wrong. You took one of my own. Man, the community don't like this. You need to answer for this. That's a community activist. He ain't doing that, man. So stop calling this man a community activist. Right? So he's going against that. Let's also hit the other flip of the coin, man. R.I.P. to Nipsey Hussle when he had said Nipsey, a dead gang member, not a hero. Despite Nipsey, man, everybody know Nipsey was in the hood. He was well documented with his community work, bro. He was building things, doing a lot of different things. Like, and to me, if I had to say out of him or Charleston as a community activist, I will hands down say Nipsey been the community activist. Because for one, he was actually still in the hood. It was documented that he was in the hood. He was going to school speaking. He was telling people don't do this and don't do that. Helping his community when people like, bro, get out the hood. Bro, get out the hood. To me, Nipsey was a community activist. And Charles, poor Charles, he didn't like that. He didn't like that, Nipsey was turning his life around. Right? That's a true revelation right there. Right? He turned his life around. Right? He was part of his community. He rehabilitated. That shit was in progress. So if that went over some of y'all heads, then you know. He was really about that Crip life, right? But he was really about rehabilitating his community. That's an activist. That ain't what Charleston White been doing. Right? So White dismissed all of that. Right? Nothing more than a criminal. That's all he said about Nipsey. A gangster. He ain't doing this. But didn't want to shine a light on the things that he was doing. Right? He talked about King Von and other deceased rappers. Yeah, I don't condone some of these drill rappers' life, especially Chicago, Philly. I really don't get it. My head is twisting because to me, I value life. I want to live till I'm like 80, 90. I want to die as of old age. Right, I get that. King Von, he had his own life. He had his different things going on, and that was the culture there. Charleston White celebrated Von's death. Not a lot of people, right? But a lot of people his age actually worship Von. They looked up to King Von. You know what I mean? I had some of this music. I'm like, all right, I could bump to this. I don't get on page of everything he stands for, but I don't wish death on no man. I don't wish prison on nobody. Right? So he's saying, man, this is the proof of the streets catching up to him. And that's probably true. But it's how you say it, man. Vaughn was a youngin'. I'd rather you point it out to Vaughn, like, hey, what you doing to yourself and your community ain't good. But then when the dude is no longer here, now you want all that smoke because you know Vaughn would have peeled your cat back. Facts. Right? Let's talk about, women and rape, man. He be talking some spicy shit, bro. Like, and I don't know how people just letting this slide all the time, man. But, perhaps the darkest of all when Charleston made a statement about women and rape that went beyond disturbing, bro. And one clip, I don't know where it was, but he admitted to sexually assaulting a woman in his youth, brushing it off as part of his past. Bro, like, what are you doing assaulting a woman? That's a coward right there, bro. Like, if you have to assault a woman, you get no respect from me. You get no respect for the community, bro. You assaulting a woman? A female, bro? Come on, Charles. That's why you hide behind the blue. That's why you hide behind the camera because, man, you be talking real spicy, man. So you talk about women and rape, bro. Man, the day, I wouldn't even say the day going to come to you, man. I would hate that for you, but it's like, bro, you need to wake up and smell the roses, man. Man, not that shit on the top of your lip that you sniffing all the time, bro. But, man, the stuff you do is sad, and I'm going to point that out all the time. I'm going to put the light on it, bro. Again, unknown, don't need a gun drone. I want all the smoke, Charles. Right? So he's talking about rape and all that. He admitted to us sexually assaulting a woman in his youth. brushing it off, then later claimed that he was joking. Man, the internet don't forget that, bro. That was no joke. You try to brush it off. Get out of here. You was one of those weirdos that really did something like that, man. I can look at you and see that that's how you was. You was the person that they dunked in the toilet and gave swirly whirlies. You was the kid that they gave wedgies to and stuff like that. You was the kid they nicknamed Send Me. They would send your ass to the store, you buy shit or rob shit and come back. That was you. You wasn't that type of person like that, Charles. You know better than that, man. Come on, man. Not everybody howl for your fucking foolery. I see right through it, Charles. So these statements reveal that Charles, a man who used pain, death, and trauma as a punchline for his own growth. Man, no more. If I'm alive, no more, bro. I'm pointing that shit out. So why people follow him? That's a good question. I don't know. I don't follow that cornball. But it's important to ask, like, why do Charleston White still have followers despite all this shit? I'm blasted about that. The answer lies in his strategies. He's a smart person. I give him that in certain things, but he's dumb as a doorknob in some other ways. Right? He say things that most people wouldn't dare to say. That's why he get it cracking. And I'm going to get it cracking back. In today's internet culture, shocks equal values and values equal money. So he knows the formula. He knows how to manipulate the algorithms. He knows how to poke at the cultural wounds. He knows controversy keeps him relevant. But relevant built on disrespect make you a leader? Nah. It makes you a hypocrite. So the bigger picture why we must call out the lies. Charleston White's entire brand rests on the idea that he is real and honest, which we know you ain't real, Charles. You definitely not real, my man. You fake it in a false teeth. But when you strip away all that noise, right, all the noise, you see a man who profits from disrespect. He glorifies trauma, uses selective truth to mask the contradiction. If he really truly cared about the youth, his content would reflect that, bro. He would be in the communities in Texas all over with the youth, the Boys and Girls Club, the YMCA. Like, he'd be all over, bro, doing food drives, like everything for the youth. I'd rather you go viral, actually practice what you preach, not preaching what you practice, bro. Charleston, my man, you're not an advocate for the youth. Stop it. I call that cap. You're not. Your social media content, you know how to make the algorithm jump up and down in your likings. Stop saying you for the youth, bro. I'm really for the youth, not you. So instead, his content reflects, a man chasing clout, using the same tools he condoned others for using. By shining a light on his lies, which I'm trying to do, and I'm going to continue to do, we aren't just exposing Charles. We protecting the people he misled, bro. Like, I'm really for the youth, man. Somebody got to say it. So any youth that's following him, stop following him. Any adults who worship him, stop worshiping him. Pick up a book and understand. Look him up, man. He's not for the culture. You know what I mean? So I'm going to end on this, man. Like, Charleston White built a stage of controversy, man. But it's people that stop applauding the act. Start questioning the script, bro. His words hurt families. He glorified death. He undermined the same value he pretended to stand for. So the next time you see Charleston White clip go viral, ask yourself this. Is this the truth that he's speaking, or is he trying to go for clout? Is this exploitation? Is he putting people down? Is he talking bad on people? Because the lights dims and the camera stopped rolling, Charleston isn't saving the community, he's selling it. He's not with us, he's against us. Charleston White is not an activist, he's an exploitator. He's not there to help the youth, he wants to set them up. Think about it, man. He always taunting people. A rapper get in trouble, he's saying something bad about them. Why? Let people, grieve in their own way. Why would you want someone to go to prison? Why would you want someone to die, his family to die? But he keeps going viral because we keep clicking on him like, oh man, he said that. The one thing that really struck me when he was talking about Boosie, man, like Boosie was a real one. Boosie tried to change his life. He did his bid. He didn't snitch on nobody. He didn't do anything silly. People knew he was a stand-up, real down to one. He didn't go out there like tucking his tail. He came out trying to figure out how do I get back to where he was, trying to get back to that bag and stuff like that. Then what little old Charles doing? Talking bad about his son. Talking bad about T.I.'s son. Now, I mean, it's to the point where Boosie said he does not want any smoke with Charleston White. Well, Boosie, I will take all that smoke that you don't want, my man. The biggest difference, Charles, Boosie got a record. He got a lot laying on the line. I do not have a record. I have nothing on the line. And there's no way in earth you can get me jammed up like how you getting them scared to. Boosie changing his life around. He has land and property where he's building homes for his family. That's a community right there. That's what a family man's supposed to do. What are you doing, Charles? Besides getting on social media, doing a 40 versus 1, looking lame and retarded. What are you doing to help your community, Charles? At least Boosie built a lake that he's fishing, catching fish, staying out the streets. That's something we supposed to applaud for our young black men. To do something a little bit different. Why not applaud him for building homes for his family to live on the same property as him? So that way his kids and their kids don't have to struggle. But Charles don't talk about that. Soon Boosie get jammed up with a gun charge. He's right there, full blasted. Social media, he's content, he knows. And people like, man, oh, he's saying this and that. Really? Come on, bro. Ain't no way in earth you can make me believe that you really for the streets, bro. There's no way in earth you can tell me that you really for the community, because you're not. So Charleston White, understand this, bro. The more you out there running your lips, the more you out there saying you're a community activist and you're not doing that, every time you going out there putting people down when they trying to get up, I'm on your heels, bruh. Call me unknown. Don't need a gun drone. Street therapist. Pushing peace. And Charles, I want all the fucking smoke.